Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel where we talk everything SEO related. Today we have one of the most wonderful SEOs I met because he has got this hacker mind of Blackhat magic. Daniel, welcome to our channel. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Ivana.
Shortly, I met Daniel in conferences, through podcasts, and he always brings a little bit of Blackhat SEO, but with a sparkle. He doesn't make it look so unethical. He always tells you, yes, this could work, but there is a risk. This is how it works, but it is a risk. He's originally a programmer, so he has got a different mind than just SEOs, but he's a very heavy SEO hitter as well. So it goes hand in hand that he creates an automation or programs that helps us SEOs with the understanding of programmer and SEO. So beautiful knowledge there. Okay, I'll start right away. What is your right now hottest Blackhat SEO trick that you think works in 2026 and why?
That's a good question.
I'm full of good questions.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. That makes sense for a podcast. So um, since I'm supplying and we are as Linksec supplying a lot of SEO services to brands, in that regard, viral traffic and backlink unfiltering are very demanded because those services are quite brand safe. And in contrast to other Blackhat SEO methods that are more risky, for example, PBN building or backlinks, etc., all those topics. So, and the results are quite quick. For example, with the viral traffic, it just takes a few days to see impacts. But that also requires us to always fine tune it to the latest changes in Google, to the parameters, and also really trying to understand how the Google algorithm is processing those signals so we can make it most effective. And we don't think that Google is right now spending much attention to those things. We even think those traffic type of services that some even became easier to implement. For example, CTR manipulation, because Google right now is probably busy with their AI systems and trying to catch up with ChatGPT and introducing Gemini to all their products. And they have so many resources right now bound to that it feels like SEO is something Google has given up on. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and more brands also realize that there is no Google to help them, to rescue them from this trend, and that some companies that spend many years of trying to be as white hat as possible now start to realize that black hat is basically just a stigma that Google put on certain methods that they don't like because they're effective, and try to make it seem like illegal, even though it's obviously not. And this stigma is now like going away because of the quality of the SERPs and the results we see.
Absolutely. SERPs are totally broken. You don't see good results there. Massive names in our industry affiliation like casino.org, gambling.com. They are outranked with Blackhat SEO practices or parasite SEO, drop domains, all of this. So I think you are right. Google just doesn't care anymore. We see the amount of updates as well of quality or spamming. It's just going down and down and down. And yeah, whatever you do, Google suddenly does not care. More abuse you do, suddenly better, which goes against everything we are trying to believe is SEO. We always believe good technical, amazing content. Yeah, we pick up links and we rank. No. And now is the time to experiment. And now is the time to be brave and try new things because, first of all, Google is not going to penalize you that much. And second of all, if you don't do it, you're not going to rank. Like, it's simple as that. So explain us very shortly viral traffic. I think I know what it is, but we know that traffic is one of the main ranking signals. You are popular, Google shows you. So in my understanding, you send this viral traffic. Some people call it bot traffic as well, or whatever. Social traffic. I think I called as well bomb traffic or explosion traffic, something like that. Amazing name.
Yeah.
Anyway, then you move to better positions and people actually start to engage more with your website, which creates traffic again, right? So that's the simple understanding. But how do you tune it to make sure that website in Norway is getting the relevant viral traffic and website in Australia is getting relevant viral traffic? Is there some trick to it or doesn't matter, could be all from same place?
Yeah, another good question. Yeah, so with viral traffic, in most cases that I'm aware of, and also including our service, viral traffic is not bot traffic, but synthetic human traffic. So basically traffic that is sourced from ad platforms and then worked with basically to make it social and to send it to the target. And important here is that the targeting of this is the nav boost module within the Google algorithm. And that nav boost module is responsible once for the SERP. So all the statistics like dwell time, bounce rate, all the things that CTR manipulation is targeting, and also Google Chrome referral traffic. So what Google Chrome is basically noticing is happening through social platforms, because platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc., those they make up a large portion of relevance in the internet, and Google wants to be aware what is happening on those platforms and how the traffic is moving out of those platforms and what the targets are. And for example, if a site is going viral on Facebook, for example, then this is something NavBoost is putting or processing and funneling back into the Google algorithm. And NavBoost is also used for PageRank, which uses NavBoost data to determine if a link, for example, backlink URL, is even worthy to count. And those are the those are the main mechanics of that part of the algorithm. So if a site is hot on social media, Google wants to quickly reevaluate it and put it in front of the users for a keyword. So the content that Google is serving is very relevant, and that satisfies user intent, and therefore keeps the users on Google, which is increasing the ad revenue, of course. So that's the idea. And however, this NavBoost module, which was first to be known for the public with the Google Data Warehouse API leak in 2023, that module, is basically not so old, and can be targeted with certain systems, and that allows us, for example, to quickly uprank certain URLs that are meeting our criteria. And the good thing about it is that this is safe for brands to do, because traffic is very temporary. It can be directed any site, and Google cannot create a penalty signal out of this. And on top of that, it's possible to keep the system very stealth and under the radar, so it's not even being noticed as synthetic. And so this is something which is very interesting right now.
Yeah, so definitely increasing your traffic, we highly recommend. If you can use some of the services to help you, it's just going to help you rank better. However, in my understanding and my experience, it doesn't work for everything. So if you are position 70, it's just not going to work. It's just going to trigger Google
Correct.
saying, oh, your CTR went from 0 to 25. But if you are position 12 or 10, if you do it correctly, you can sort of in short time move to top 5, top 3, right? That's the clue here. You need to be already visible. You already need to have good SEO. It's not going to make a miraculous thing when there is no traffic.
Exactly. And there are also cases where it works extremely well, and there are cases where it doesn't work so nicely. So there can be a case also of rank 10 to just 8, but there can also be a case of rank 20 to 2. So we have seen all the spectrum of effect with this, but most often like something like rank 7 to 3 or 2 is in the cards. And for your question regarding the fine tuning, for example, in Norway or somewhere else, um, every country has a different tuned algorithm, and also different constraints on our end to provide that traffic. And uh, we basically on our end, we need to make sure that we can reach a certain virus threshold within each country. And with small countries, this is more difficult. And also, sometimes it's different sites behave differently to certain traffic. Sometimes you need to vary the platform. Sometimes you need to vary the amount of visitors you're sending. And all those things need to be taken care of. And therefore, we also have a very sophisticated measuring system where we measure the impact in the Google SERP 4 times a day. So we can spot the nuances of the effect and fine tune it.
So would you say that if you are working with traffic, let's say in UK, you try to say UK based traffic rather than traffic from India, right? Because
Yes,
that's a difference. Obviously, the Indian traffic, it's still traffic, but it's not going to have the same value as the UK if
of
you are
course.
targeting UK.
Yes,
Okay, so what I would understand from this, it is a very good system to help you rank. I vouch for it. I tried it on many websites. It worked. But you already need to have good SEO, and you need to be
yeah,
careful who you use as a supplier, because not everybody is going to provide good service. Like somebody is just going to sell you traffic, and it could be from India or Vietnam, and you're targeting Canada, and it's just going to hurt you rather than help you. So be careful who you trust.
exactly. And yeah, good SEO is a prerequisite for this, definitely. Else you wouldn't have, for example, a top 20 ranking without having the SEO right in the first place. But in the end, this is basically the last mile to
Mhm.
gap over. And yeah, so and also it's very important to have the traffic to be geo-relevant. Um, Else Google will ignore it or even use it for a temporary negative effect. But like the temporary negative effect won't stay, as like it's not legible for negative SEO, for example. But of course, you would be wasting money by doing that. Yes.
I really truly love that we're talking about Blackhat SEO and you're dressed in black. Just wanted to point that out, like very much on theme, you know.
I live it.
Good. So viral traffic is something you should at least try, because if you can score position 2 instead of 7 with little bit of boost, then you should at least try it. But be careful. Once again, we
Yes.
always caution being careful with all of these practices. What is your other huge thing that you would say people are not doing and should be? Like, you know, for example, we talked about PBN with my friend because she loves PBNs and she thinks they work right now. And I think they're coming back, but you flag them as a little bit more risky than the traffic. However, I think you should do PBN. If you are doing market when there are no links or you want to have more control and you have got the time and budget and knowledge, you should do PBNs. Would you say I'm right or I'm completely off my hinges here?
To be honest, I agree. It's just that PBNs are not so straightforward. With viral traffic, there's basically nothing you can do to really hurt the site. But with PBN, if you do it obviously wrong, you can get a penalty. But we are building PBNs and we are selling them, and they work well, and they are especially helpful for AI manipulation. So definitely they will have a comeback. Maybe it already began. Um, and we're doing this like PBN building some of the OG services. So we're doing that for a long time now. And even if you combine PBNs with social traffic, like not in a viral configuration where you push a lot of it on it, but a subtle amount, like we do also with backlink unfiltering, you can get really powerful links from them.
Yes, because the problem with PBN, how they used to be, and they worked back then, were drop domain, rebuild, link. and then create tier 2, tier 3, tier whatever, best one linking to money site, and it worked like magic. And those sites were dead. There was no ever taking care of a content, no ever any traffic. So you need to make right now, make them look that they are alive. So you still need to spend money on content now and then, tweak it a little bit. And the
Yeah.
traffic helps, and the traffic is sort of automated, so you don't have to put too much manpower into it. So I think that's a beautiful touch.
Yeah.
But you said that if you do it wrong, then Google can really hurt you. What is really wrong in doing PBNs right now?
For example, if you put all your PBN sites, let's say you have 30 PBN sites, you put them all on WordPress with the same plugins and very similar theme, and
Okay.
maybe even with the same imprint to make it obvious. And maybe even the same link hiding mechanism. So you always block, for example, ARESpot. And then you point it to your site, and that site you have, let's say, only has 50 backlinks, and you point 30 PBN links to it with obvious footprints. This is like a no-brainer to get a penalty. Of course, this is like exaggerated, but even in cases where the footprint is less obvious and you have more links, there's a risk attached to it. And of course, you don't want to have a 10% risk of getting a penalty. So you really have to make sure that the PBN is clean and that there are no connections between them. And I would also prefer to not always go with drop domains, but mix it, like with the money sites, satellite sites, canonical stuff. Non-dropped is what works best. For PBN, dropped also works. But if you have everything dropped and rebuilt basically, and if you then, for example, go and just restore the Wayback archive version of the domains, this is an obvious footprint. For example, Archivarix is a tool to build your PBN site on based on the Wayback Machine snapshot of the past, and that is leaving a footprint. And Google is aware of it. And if you then have 30 sites with that footprint linking to yours, that's also enough to likely get a penalty.
Or have everything on the same hosting. Or my favorite, have all of your Google Analytics and Google Search Console on one email.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah, of
mistake
course.
101. Okay, I've
Yes.
seen it done, and it worked, and then it stopped working. 2018, 19, everything got cleaned up. So I wonder if Google cares right now, because it doesn't seem to really be bothered, but I would still be careful.
That's a good point. And there are even cases that are really funny. Sometimes we do some market research, and so we also have the PBN detection system. And sometimes we spy on some competitors and try to find all their PBN sites. And there's a German SEO company that is basically selling guest post links that are basically PBN links, but they tell their clients, and we know that by fact, they tell their clients that those are guest post links, and they register them also on guest posting platforms. But in the end, those are PBN sites they've built. And because in Germany you have a certain like privacy protection law, something like that, where you are forced to reveal a valid address in the imprint. And of course, they don't want to, or they don't put their own company address there, but like an inbox address on the seashells, and the inbox ID of that service, or basically of the account at that service, is the same ID on all those PBN sites.
Oh, God.
So we were able to just run a scan over the internet basically to find all the sites with that imprint ID. And then we had all their PBN sites, few hundred. And of course, those things are pretty obvious and also something Google can easily detect. So Just some side
Absolutely.
story about that stuff.
If
Yeah,
you can, and you are a small company, I'm not saying you're a bad company, but you're small compared to Google. You're small, and you are
of
able to
course.
do
We
this.
are small.
Then a
Yeah,
technological giant like Google is definitely able to do this in a split of a
100%.
second. So be
Yes.
careful, yes. But PBNs, I think, are making a comeback, and as well, it happens that sometimes there is a PBN network, but one or two sites are just really, really strong, and they become good links. And just because they were built as PBNs, you shouldn't just discard them. You should always evaluate. There are a few that I purchased the sites on because they were really, really strong. And they, over the time, you build PBN 5 years ago, the site could become viral, could be good. So I recommend always pay attention to what you're doing. But if you are buying from the PBN, don't buy all of them. Okay, buy maybe one. Don't be like, oh, there is a PBN, I'll buy all 275 of them.
Yeah,
Cool.
I agree.
Backlink unfiltering you have mentioned, and I tried this service. I vouch for it. It's amazing. It's actually like a cheaper link building because you have links that are already there and Google stop caring and you boost them again and suddenly you have all of these links like fresh and it works and it gives a nice steady glow to the website. But can you explain to our listeners what it is? Because I was in SEO 15 years by the time I first heard of backlink unfiltering, and when I talk to people, most of them don't know. So I think this is something super original you have.
Yeah, we are actually, I think, the only company that is really focusing on that service worldwide. So I am just aware of one other company that has it like as some unwanted service somewhere hidden. We really focus on it because by looking at the Google Data Warehouse API leak, you really can see the deep integration of nav boost and PageRank. It's like black on white that Google has 3 tiers of categorizing a backlink. It's like low tier, mid tier, and high tier. And all your backlinks get categorized as one of those three. And if your backlinks land in the low tier, most of the effect will be removed and some even completely neutralized. And that's also why backlinks from high traffic domains where the backlink is not placed on a very deeply nested URL, but like on a URL that is closer to the homepage. Sometimes you get those organic gems. Those really work well, and that's why, because all the authorities passed, and Google basically tries to combine those traffic signals with link authority to really make it hard to manipulate the algorithm. But of course, it's possible. And with backlink unfiltering, we see great results. And the good thing about it is, if you combine it even with viral traffic, you have a lot of power, because you can maximize one signal, but at some point on a logarithmic scale, it won't give you much more than you already have. But combining different signals with each other, um, like link authority and user signals, for example, really even helps more than the single signal maxed out. And backlink unfiltering is quite complex to do, because you need to send a lot of traffic, very precisely distributed, at the most important backlinks that have basically an undersupply of traffic. And you really need to make sure that you get the distribution right. And you really make sure that you track every single click, and you exactly know which backlink receives how many clicks a day. So you have really a reliable system that is generating this uplift. There are many like technical mistakes you can do, and yeah, we focused on it. We continuously improve it, and the good thing about it is it's cheaper than building links. You can have a lot of link investments that are dead basically, and with that service, you can reactivate your investments and get most out of it. It just takes more time than viral traffic. Viral traffic is very quick, sometimes few hours, most often like 1-2 days. And with backlink unfiltering, you need a few weeks, like 4 weeks, 6 weeks, round about that time. It depends on the case, sometimes even after 1 week, but it's general a bit more midterm than the viral traffic. Yeah.
I think this would be a very good service if you pick up a drop domain and you want to rebuild it, because drop domains, they start to lose the DR and authority. And if you give it this boost, because they usually we go for drop domains, they've got lots of links or something. If you push these, I think it just like resuscitates the domain, right? This would be a good way to use that.
Yes, that's a good point. Also, in general, like re-indexing even a backlink profile can make a lot of sense if you are buying domains, because often even the links are not even indexed. You see them in Ahrefs, but it doesn't mean that Google has picked them up or is keeping them in the index, because Google also likes to cut costs. And so even re-indexing helps.
Well, you already gave us 4 gems. So traffic manipulation, PBNs, re-indexing, and backlink filtering. What would be your number 5? And we'll stay with that. Number 5, what would be your 5 big secrets you will give us to use from the sort of more creative SEO approach? Let's not call it Blackhat anymore. Creative SEO approach that would really help you, that would give you a boost. What is your last favorite to recommend today?
2 things. One thing is to, if you order guest post or PBN links or build your own PBNs, listicle style of articles with your target brand and site being basically endorsed helps a lot with AI overview and also LLMs. So having your guest post structured as listicles is a no-brainer. If your target is to get included in AI overview, for example. And also, if you want to rank in LLMs, building extensive PBNs targeting your topic definitely helps. Like, there are more sophisticated methods than that. We are also working on systems that target, for example, ChatGPT. They are more sophisticated and aggressive, but even that is already like quite straightforward, because you want to fill the topical cluster that you're targeting with your content and your brand and your site. And by building a PBN that is large enough, you have a shot basically at getting included in the PBNs.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. Little hot tip for everyone in Malta or planning to come in Malta. Daniel will be speaking and giving a workshop in SBC Malta. This is not anyhow sponsored by SBC Malta, but if you want to pick his brain in person, come to see us there. Thank you for giving us your time and all of the knowledge, and I'll look forward to seeing you in Malta.
Thank you, Ivana. Looking forward.